Well, I guess you can see on the screen there too. So if y'all are ready, we'll just switch to
Cool.
live.
Do it.
Yep.
Do it up.
Go ahead
Spend
and do
about
it.
15, 20 seconds.
Okay.
I'll start off. All right.
You're live, guys.
Hey.
Hello, everybody.
Shout out
This
live.
is Carissa Des. This is Off the Cuff with Des and Zane. This is Carissa Des.
And I'm Zane Thomas.
And we are here with D3M.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Welcome.
Hello.
welcome. Can I get all y'all to just kind of introduce yourself? Let's start right here, closest.
Definitely. I go by Ray Sen. People call me Ray or 9K usually.
I am Satan. Everyone calls me Satan X Lucy. I was born in Chicago, raised in North
Nice,
Carolina
nice.
with my brother.
Yo, I'm GSR Nino. You know, born in Portland.
I'm Bran, like the thing in your head, from Oregon.
I'm just Leon. Leon is my name. Leon Houston. Government name. Government official. Yeah. Some people call me Mondo, but yeah, you know.
Excellent, excellent. Well, nice to meet all of you. I have some questions. First one I want to ask is there's a lot of people here, so I feel like each of you brings something different to the group, right? So I'm curious what each of you personally feels like you bring to the group.
Wow. Good question. So I feel like D3M is really just like a world. It's like a thought tank for people. So
Okay.
everybody brings their own idea. I can't speak for anybody else in the room, so I'll let them say what they say. I feel like I bring just passion, creative energy, sometimes vision. The vision changes, so boom.
Nice.
Word, I feel that. I can't speak for anybody either. I feel like it's definitely like everyone brings their own passion and energy. I feel like realism is something that like I bring, and I feel like my brothers bring that too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I feel like I bring more of like a super like artsy, creative type vibe type shit. Like I'm trying to we all are super creative. And everyone is like super sharp with their own different things and stuff. But like, you know, in certain niches, like I like some metal type vibe in there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Oh,
so.
nice.
He knows very dapper. He's a dapper one.
Look at the
Dapper.
Very, very, very dapper.
Like that.
Yeah, it's really cool to like be in D3M and join D3M. I've been with them about a year, but they're the reason I started like doing visual arts seriously. Like I'm a
Oh, yeah.
photographer.
Okay.
And, like I know Nina does 3D design. Like everyone brings something else to the table. No one does just one thing either. And that's
Sure.
what I think is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
do you do
I'm-
like a lot of the editing?
For the
All of
videos,
it.
yeah, I do all the
Yeah.
photos. They do a lot of graphic design on their own time too, which is
Okay.
great. But
Yeah, so I'm a new nigga, but you know, I try to bring like more of a I try to bring like tangible results in the sense that I just believe, you know, very much so in this group more than I have like any other, you know, and I've been around the block, you know, I've seen a lot of stuff, and you know, I've been through a lot of stuff, and you know, I just trust all these guys, everyone affiliated, you know, like I think they're just, you know, like eons above, you know, anything that I could have ever imagined to be in Portland, you know, specifically. So,
Yeah.
but I also, you know, I produce and shit, you know, I'm really crazy with, you know, the Ableton and stuff, you know, so, you know.
So you make the beats.
Yeah.
You
I
make
sometimes
the-
some of them. We have a few
Oh,
songs. Again, I'm new, so
He's humble,
but
but
you
he's
know,
cold as fuck.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
Thank you.
For real.
The cold motherfuckers usually are.
I don't know. I'm just trying to get on that, you know, I'm trying to get on that Pharrell level, you know, Steve Albini, fucking, you know, already like fucking
Fuck yeah.
Rick Rubin, my favorite.
Oh,
my favorite.
bro.
The goat, Rick Rubin. So I'm working on it, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I guess that leads me to the question, which musical artists were most influential for you growing up?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Very good. Such a
Mic
good
drop.
question. Man.
We're adults here.
No,
Pretty sure you can.
Yeah, you can
definitely
cuss,
a
it's
lot.
okay.
Definitely a lot. I would
Fuck,
say
shit.
Run over,
Dude.
run
What's like
over.
the first one that you can think of? Backstreet
Well,
Boys.
I feel okay. Pause. I feel like we speak for like the alternative kid, but if you're black, the alternative black kid for sure. You know, and just like not really having one thing you can kind of call home. You have like a couple different things you identify with. My mom was into R&B, dude. So R&B was like big. And then our cousins were into metal, so I couldn't even listen to rap music. I couldn't really listen to rap music until I was like 14.
I wasn't allowed.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like,
Yeah.
one artist. right now, I'll say Quincy Jones. But,
Yeah.
Okay.
You already know
Alright.
Yeah.
that Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
part,
That's
so.
safe to say. Okay, I'm done.
Fuck.
Quincy Jones, like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the classics, like we grew up like Aretha Franklin, like a lot of like rock music, metal, Linkin Park, Chester Bennington.
Yes, sir.
Alright.
R.I.P.
Joe Armstrong, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
all of the goats from like the early 2000s rock, late 90s
100%.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Me too. I fuck with that.
Agreed.
What you do?
Fuck. I would think like fucking like for like certain genres and shit, like definitely Slipknot would it if it would be for metal and shit. Slipknot or Disturbed because of my two favorite bands.
Yep. Yep.
Fucking if it was for like R&B type shit, like Tina Marie type.
Oh my
Or like,
god.
you know,
You already know.
Oh my
And
gosh,
then,
goddamn.
or like fucking like
Like,
Tyler
I
or
don't even
some
know
shit
who
like
that
that
is,
dude
but I
Tyler's
will
going
pretend like I
nuts.
do.
So, like, that shit was sick as fuck.
I'll have to look into that.
I don't know who they're more offended at.
I feel
Sorry.
that for a different icon for every genre.
I
I hope
also
you're
don't
not.
know.
No, I'm with
Tina
you on
Marie, you're
Tyler
not
though.
listening.
Like that was the whole childhood, and just like seeing a collective of like young kids just come together
Yep.
and like do DIY properly
Yeah,
and really
bro.
make it out like that's like super sick. As far as like actual childhood, like my mom was always slapping like ABBA,
Yeah.
and then like Rob Zombie right after.
Yeah.
And I
for
love
sure.
her for that.
Do they do like a
Yeah.
mashup? Because that'd be pretty.
That'd be
Oh my
sick.
god, yes.
Yeah.
Little
Amazing.
dead. Yo,
That was a good one.
I would have to say like my upbringing was really strange because like I had two moms, which a lot of people don't know, and they were both very musically inclined. And I would listen to Madonna, I listened to Beastie Boys, I listened to 50 Cent. Like I'd just be all over the place. But really growing up, what really got me into music was Jimi Hendrix, and I listened to the Doors a lot. And see the Doors, Jimi Hendrix, Cream. I really like Boston a lot. Then growing up a little bit further, I was White Stripes. What's the other band? Interpol. I listen to Interpol a lot.
Interpol, yeah.
Interpol's crazy.
Yes.
A lot of metal stuff too. Like I was like heavy into metal, no pun intended. But then as I grew up,
Pun
it
You
was
can intend the
I
pun
was
here.
intended, entiendo. But yeah, as I grew up, it became, as Odd Future started to, make its way onto the scene, I was very into that because like growing up, in middle school and stuff, like I was like, the black kid who was wearing the skinny jeans and doing all the stuff that a lot of people do now.
Mhm.
And like, it wasn't like
You
a
did it
thing.
before it was cool.
I guess I fucking did,
Maybe you started.
but it was really not cool.
We
That's
made
the
way
thing.
for those kids.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. No, exactly. I was like, it was really uncool. Like, motherfuckers was stinging me every day. Like, oh, can your balls fit in that? I'm like, yes, they can. I'm 11 years old. Like, but yeah. So I'm like
leave me
cool
alone.
kids. The cool kids, fucking Chuck D, like Chuck English. Sorry, not Chuck D. Really just influenced me a lot because they were riding around their bikes, skinny jeans and shit. I was like, oh, this is like motherfuckers is doing this now. And then Odd Future came out and it was over. It was a wrap.
Totally.
Alt niggas is in,
It's not all anymore.
Yeah, no kids.
Yeah, it's not all anymore.
It's me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally everyone's doing it now.
Yep, especially in Portland.
Oh, it is my question.
Your turn.
So I heard a lot of y'all mention, metal was kind of like an influence that you kind of had. What other genres would you say like have influenced y'all's style? Because I was listening to some of y'all's music and I was like, okay, I can try to guess where I think some of it came from. But like what other genres have you kind of like pulled into?
Definitely that 2000 scene shit, definitely like EDM and house music.
Mhm.
Sure,
Like,
okay.
really, like
fucking-
big raver, okay.
Even like dance, like fucking
dance, like
Mhm.
100%, like
Drum and
even
bass.
dubstep
Yeah.
at the
Fucking-
point.
Oh my
Drum
god,
and
I'm
bass.
so big into
Yeah,
dubstep.
dubstep.
It was hilarious, actually.
All
Yeah.
the goals,
How much
as
into
far as R&B
dubstep.
goes, you could touch that forever. I mean, being black, like that's in our community. You can't
Mhm.
leave the community until you know what that's like.
Yeah,
Sure.
That's how I feel. At least my mom grew up in the
Cutting
church and shit,
bass.
so like you're gonna know all the R&B.
sure.
like making that
old.
old
Yeah.
R&B, like
Yeah,
that, like
Like
Fuck.
Keith
the Isley
Sweat.
Brothers.
nah,
Oh, wait,
like
going
yeah,
way
like
back.
eyes,
Okay,
like yeah,
all
like
right.
deep
Like Phoebe
type.
Snow, like
Mhm.
You
said
dig.
Tina Marie already, but
Mhm.
you gotta know who Tina. You don't know who Tina.
I-
Like some Roy
I'm
Ayers,
ashamed.
some like
Yeah.
some like Roy
Awful.
Ayers ubiquity type shit.
Bro,
Shoot me a
what?
link.
I'm listening to a lot of Miles Davis lately too.
Miles
It
Davis.
Bitches
did.
Brew is the
It
craziest
did.
album.
Yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
That album is
Yeah.
influences a lot of the
Mhm.
the sound design that I have and stuff for sure. Miles Davis is you know, say what you will about him. That dude was, you know, very troubled. But that, yeah, his vision, like he literally like changed, like he made different, like he made shit like important, like he made his genre important and universally renowned. Every time he had something, like not every time he had something drop, but he was like, you know, the first album came off some blue or whatever the fuck. It was like it changed jazz and, you know, all that shit for a long time. And then Bitches Brew came out. He changed everything. Like he was like every time he dropped, it was the most influential shit. So like I just really think Miles Davis is like every time.
I used to wonder as a kid, like at one point are we gonna run out of music?
Oh,
like
sure.
Combinations for
Never.
music, like you know what I mean. How many times can you put a new face on that sound?
I mean,
You gotta develop an algorithm.
Everything's
I
a
feel like
remix
that's
of a
just
remix.
influence.
You feel me?
I've heard
So
some
it's-
mad weird fusions. My bad.
Oh, I was just gonna say, ask. So, is it important for you guys to keep like your style new and like evolving?
Evolving is a good
Of
word.
course.
Yeah.
New is
Definitely.
Constantly
Yeah.
evolving, like
I
new
still
genre
listen to
bend
music,
every
new
week.
music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like you'll
I
never
appreciate
know what
that.
someone's gonna like
Mhm.
really like. You never know what everyone's gonna like. So with that being said, just do it, find out
Mhm.
through experimentation. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's all it is
Definitely.
experimentation
Yeah.
constantly.
So you hear
Yep.
it for the first time. You're not. How are you?
Just go for what's, you know, it's like I think it's one of the things that I've been really trying to do, and it like kind of inhibits my production sometimes if I don't do it. It's just literally feeling out what you just genuinely viscerally have a response that's hard. Like you're like, this is
100%
hard no
facts.
matter what it
It's
is.
emotional.
No matter what
Mhm.
genre it is, no matter what you're, if you just hear a sound, like, you know, whether it's EDM, dance hall, you know, all that, you know, different, all these different genres. If you hear it and it's like,
It makes you like,
yeah, like,
okay,
this is
shit.
hard. No matter what it is, I don't give a
Shit,
fuck.
can-
Like I'm
I
like,
can
that's
fuck with it.
that's how you
You know
keep
what I mean?
making fresh shit,
It's
and
the
that's how you make
universal
good shit.
You just
so.
gotta feel
For sure, for sure. I agree.
Exactly. Follow that. Follow that
Definitely.
trail.
Me too. I've been
What puts you guys in the headspace while writing, creating your music, like smoking weed
Trauma.
or?
True.
Trauma. Definitely
Yo.
Self-expression.
It's got real dark.
Pain a little bit. I mean, we're all really
Yeah.
happy people, I'd say. Like, if you ever kicked it with us, we'd be like,
trauma dumper.
we're extremely goofy. Like, really goofy.
Right.
I
But,
appreciate
you
that.
know, suddenly you listen to one of our songs and you gotta ask, like, damn, what's that nigga going through today? Like, I don't know. But,
I don't know.
They okay?
Should've laughed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Who hurt
Sorry.
you?
Ask me that question. I was like,
There's-
his music is kind of dark.
But there's so
sure.
much different. There's so many different type of like emotions to feel throughout the day. And if you just so happen to sit down at the fucking computer and all of a sudden you're spewing your fucking emotions and shit, you're gonna come up with some weird shit.
Yeah.
You're gonna come up with some slightly kind of dark, slightly
Working
kind of
through your
like
shit.
Yeah, the
nigga,
mind
you
is
know?
a dark
Definitely.
place. Like you'll really surprise yourself making music.
Tap
For
into the
real.
upside down, you know.
Yeah,
Flip
like
that
shit.
it's like 1 minute you're talking about like sad ass shit, and then the next one you're like hyping the fuck up. You're like,
Straight up.
what's
Some,
happening?
like,
Are you crying in the
LMAO
club
vibes,
right
like-
now? Like,
Sad as fuck right
Like
now.
that's that dynamic
So
range.
sad.
I'm sad as fuck right now.
Crying to aha. Crying to
A
aha.
little tear.
Ah.
One tear.
wipe your tears away and shit. Fuck.
So it sounds like you have you kind of go through like a range of emotions. So like when you what would you say is like kind of an overall? Because it's like I've noticed that the songs that I listen to are a little bit heavier. So like, do you ever find yourself talking about maybe something that's happy but with a heavier tone, or
Oh
is it
my
because that's the thing
God.
about metal? Everyone just
Love that
assumes that
question.
like, oh man, it's they're screaming, so it's probably angry. It's like that's not
Yeah,
necessarily-
that's-
Exactly, bro. It's
Glad
a
you
lot of
asked
that
that question.
word.
'Cause that's
Yeah.
a lot of
Mhm.
people won't ask that and quite like tap into that because you know they hear angry or shit and like, oh, this is just uneducated, not like angry nonsense. You know,
Right.
they're always saying something. You know, if you
Bro, the
listen, they're always
heaviest shit
saying
could be
something.
about dandelions and sunshine. for
Exactly.
real. Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes
I'm stealing
like
that
that.
idea. That's mine. I'm stealing
Yeah,
it.
that's
Danny
Pat-
Einstein.
It's like a juxtaposition where it's
Oh,
just like,
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's my
contrasting
favorite.
for sure.
Music.
That's what makes great art.
Definitely.
Yeah.
God.
Like if you're looking at something and don't know which part to look at, because both parts are like enticing, whatever that
Mhm.
is. So both feelings, you know, you're listening to the track. The track itself is aggressive.
Mhm.
Maybe the
Mhm.
vocals are not as aggressive.
Yeah.
And maybe you
Mhm.
can't hear exactly what's being said. So then you have to find out what's being said.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
wild.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? It's like fucking like it's like a scene, it's like a movie type shit, like the song that it is or whatever. And it's like since it's like a beauty and a tragedy, whatever the fuck. So it's like happy inside.
Yeah,
whatever.
100%. Literally, it's
Mhm.
like
Makes
those
it
faces.
inside of itself and
Like theater.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Theater's
it's
great.
true.
Theater's
Yeah,
great.
fucking-
Theater's great.
Shout out to all
True.
the theater kids.
Yeah.
Question.
Some of them.
Strap is-
Some of them
Some of
niggas.
them.
Some of them niggas.
Some of them.
Nope.
Theater kids.
Yeah.
So, the question I wanted to ask was,
fuck.
so as far as like the last song that you probably worked, whether it's like you've worked on it together or it's just something that you've been personally working on by yourself, I'm curious, like, what's something that you've kind of you personally have deliberately tried to make like an effort for? Because like I make music as well, so I'm just like I'm trying to work on making not as sad story songs.
Oh, word.
So,
Okay. Word.
Go ahead. Let's try it this end and then
All
come
right.
back this way.
I might need you to reiterate a little.
So yeah,
tiny
no
bit.
worries. Like,
Yeah.
so what's something you deliberately tried to do on like one of your latest songs or one of your last songs? Like, what's deliberately
Like a new
not into
genre,
it?
maybe, or like
Yeah, you're like I want to try a new
Deliberately,
genre,
okay,
or-
yeah, like intentional, very intentional,
Yeah.
less of the go with the flow and more intentional.
Yeah.
I've just really been trying to, like, because my main thing is like production, and like I'm really trying to get more tapped in with the engineering aspect. I do want to start writing more songs and being more lyrical on songs again, but right now my production, like just right now, just getting back into it because I lost my computer for like 2 months. Like I was gone, and I was
Like you lost it, like you misplaced it. Like you
I
couldn't
left it
find
at a hotel when I was going to fucking Coachella, and I had COVID, and I couldn't go to Coachella, and it was, and we just went down to LA, and I just got it back. So it was like a couple weeks ago, I got it back.
yeah.
So
I had to be terrified.
yeah, it was fucked, man. It sucked, and the people at the hotel, I mean, bless their hearts, but they were just not helpful
Fuck
at all.
Bakersfield. It's hot and
Fuck
dry.
Bakersfield, it's
Oh, God.
disgusting.
It is
but,
hot and dry and dusty and
mainly
fucking-
with like producing, like I've just been really trying to like solidify my different drum patterns and stuff, and like really work on my percussion, my percussive aspects and stuff, and just experiment more with layering, because a lot of artists, there's this really cool scene in Wu-Tang, the American Saga, where like fucking, oh my god, RZA, I think, is like, analyzing the different pieces of a song, and it's like there's a trumpet player here, there's a guitar player here, and there's just so many layers when people sample things.
For sure.
And instead of like, taking a sample and just using that, like actually creating all those individual stems yourself.
Facts.
Being
Yeah,
intentional with them,
100%, yeah.
building it from the ground up,
Yeah.
because like I like sampling a lot, I like doing this, I can play guitar, I play bass and stuff, but I haven't really done a lot of that in my production, so I'm trying to start being more hands-on.
Hands-on is like playing
Yeah.
the instruments instead of
Yeah.
sampling. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I
exactly,
dig it, I dig
exactly,
it.
and then analyzing those different parts in different songs so I can, replicate it or take from it,
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
studying
Definitely.
music from like an arrangement standpoint.
Perfect. There you go. Arrangement mode, baby. Shout out Ableton. I love you.
Big shout out Ableton.
Shout
Good training.
So talking about like the technical side of your music, this is kind of a random question, but what do you guys think about like digital versus analog? Like, do you think that's coming back? Like
Whoa.
recording on
I
tapes and
want
shit. I
analog
heard
to
like
come
from another
back.
artist that
Totally.
I have a bunch of CDs, and I mean it's all at my parents' house, but like a giant stack of CDs, old records from my dad, tapes, like Rob Zombie's last album, I got like a 1 of 4,000 tapes. Like I think it's really fun to
Ooh,
collect. I
that's
think
cool.
collecting music, like you have like something physical, like it makes it a bit more, I
the
guess.
actual
Yeah.
vintage.
Yeah.
yeah.
Having it in your hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I was gonna say the only reason or the only way it's come back around in my life recently is like recording. We've
Mhm.
recorded mostly digital, I would
Mhm.
say, like as far as like, your interface being digital, plugging the guitar directly into the interface. Technically to me that's not analog, but that's just because that's what I learned.
Right.
But recently I had somebody kind of try to tap me in like, yo, you should do analog shit if you do you guys do
Frankie.
Yeah. And if you guys
Frankie's-
do it, and Crash too, actually. Shout out Crash for that. And
Barracuda.
Bruh said like, yo, you should like do that if you're gonna do more alternative genre, do rock or just do instrumentation
Yeah.
at all.
Does give it a warmth, a special
Yeah.
warmth and stuff.
And we all
and-
play
yeah.
instruments.
Yeah.
So I guess
Okay.
like
Mm,
for that
tape,
reason,
baby.
maybe we'll start to do
You're
it
right.
more. It just depends on access.
There's also like a certain
Yeah,
there's a certain sound when it comes to analog because when you strum
Mhm.
and like the different riffs, it has different cuts of where your fingers are. Like it plays differently and it vibrates
yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
So the sound you couldn't really
Like a fuller
actually
sound.
create
Yeah, you
that
can't
sound.
make it digitally.
Mhm.
Like it's hard to recreate.
You can't get it out of like what is it? VSTs and
Nah,
stuff.
Yeah, all the outboard
Dude,
gear and
VST
stuff.
guitars
Yeah,
sound so
VST.
garbage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta get the
Dang,
right
dang,
one.
dang, dang. Yeah, this is wow.
You gotta get the
It's
right
like-
one.
They're gonna know I didn't play this.
Yeah, you can tell
Get a
someone just
guitar.
played it on the
Straight
keys.
up.
Learn how to play that
So
shit.
VST is where you just like make the beat of a guitar. I was thinking about
yeah,
doing
it's
that,
like
like,
the,
like
the
an
plugin.
engine that'll
starting a
literally
band and
generate.
like have
It's
generating.
within the DAW. It's a tool within the DAW. It's like a
Virtual
interface,
instrument.
yeah. Virtual
Right.
instrument. Yeah, VST.
Boom.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But
make a band like
yeah,
that. I'll
well,
make it.
shout out Frankie. Frankie's
I
just
know,
calling
that's my
me
land.
right now. Frankie literally was just calling me. We just
Shout out Frankie.
mentioned
Shout out
Frankie.
Frankie.
They're the owner of the studio and stuff, and they have the outboard, the gear, the board is analog, and they've been doing a lot more EQing with analog lately. So analog making a comeback, like from a recording standpoint. Digital analog, there's not too much. Like the difference is if it's not super intentional, it's negligible.
Like you wouldn't notice it.
Yeah, you wouldn't really notice it.
Mhm.
But there is some things with EQing and stuff that like Frankie's really working on that are gonna put a spin on, like maybe bring analog back a little bit. And they're a fucking crazy
They're
engineer. They're
beasts.
crazy with it. So
They're
I
beasts,
think
yeah.
I've
They're
never heard
engineer.
better mixes.
Yeah.
So shout out Pastry Sound Lab. What I'm
Big
saying?
shout out
It's my
Pastry.
job. You know what I'm
Pastry.
saying?
So-
Our
Yeah.
competition. No, I'm kidding. We're not even competing with them yet. We got
No
a good
comp-
studio,
you-
but their sound is amazing there.
yeah.
Y'all got to
It's a
come
beautiful
through.
studio.
You're more than welcome to come record if you want.
I
We'll hook you up.
went through there for came through there for Cypher Saturdays.
Yes,
and
yes,
it was super
yes.
dope.
That's next Saturday.
Yeah, very true. Are you coming through?
Oh, I work there. That's my
Oh,
job. Yeah,
I think-
yeah.
wait, were
They'll
you there
definitely
last
be
time
there.
when we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always there. Everybody always is like, they're like, oh yeah, I saw you at Cypher Saturdays. Are you gonna be there? And I'm like, yeah, I work there. I helped build that studio.
That's so wild.
Build that
Okay.
place.
I was like, I
Blood, sweat, and tears.
thought were familiar. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was sitting on the mixing board.
Yep,
you
you
know.
were on the mixing board. Yeah, that's. So, what about like freestyling? Does anybody here mess
Yeah.
around with that? Everyone like
These motherfuckers
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
We freestyle. I mean, like it depends on the genre, but we freestyle so much music because
Yeah.
like
A
I mean,
lot of
yes,
our music is
hip hop
freestyle.
calls for that. I mean,
Yeah.
songwriting, you should songwrite. Okay, you should actually structure songs. Yes, but all the time, man, freestyling is so much fun.
Freestyling is very fun
So
to
much
me.
fun. You
Yeah.
got the right
Yes, it
energies
is.
around you, people to bounce off of.
Very
I
fun.
believe you said that. Now I have to say something crazier. Yeah.
Mhm.
These cats are like, I think I'm some of the coolest freestylers I've ever seen too. Just because,
Well, hopefully
like,
we'll hear
watching
that.
them like bounce off of each other, like, because there's a lot of freestyling where it's like booba da ba loop da boobity bop, and then it's like but like they'll actually like they'll sing shit, they'll fucking they'll be different, switching up the cadences and stuff, and it's not just
Yeah.
about getting it out.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
yeah.
And then they're like, they'll bounce off of each other in a way that's like super organic and like
Real cypher.
like just real
Real
cipher
cypher
shit.
shit. Real cypher.
Slaughterhouse Ciphers 2020.
Look out and see you dig.
But
Yeah.
yeah, they're really crazy with it.
Sure.
So, do you guys normally? I noticed that you all kind of have your own songs. Do you ever all collab on one song?
Oh
All
yeah.
the time.
Singing,
Oh,
performing? Okay.
Definitely.
More so than not,
That
probably.
song we sent you is like one of our earlier sessions together.
Mhm.
That one came together kind of like, okay, we know where everyone wants to be on it. Sometimes things come together naturally. Like they'll just pull something up or make a beat and be like, yeah, I made this just now. But he won't say what he wants on it, but he'll like trust someone to work with it. You feel me? And like
Yeah.
that's a different scope because I wouldn't even make a song with you unless I trusted your vision. But also there's other parts where like, okay, we should submit to each other. I want to back off and you tell me like we should do this today. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh.
answer is
Yeah,
yes
sure.
or no. But
Shout out GSR. I've been sending shit to GSR Scoobs and Knox. That's out of GSR, D3M,
Knox.
GSR, one and the same, all brothers,
D3M wouldn't exist
so.
without GSR. So
Yeah.
like, it
Yeah.
happened.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, Arnino?
Is that the stuff that's in
Yes.
that's in like ramen? What's GSR?
And that's
MSG.
MSG.
MSG boy.
Yeah.
Yo, my boy Nino up in the
Yeah.
ramen. Flame.
Just put me in a ramen packet for the next picture. Just put me in a ramen packet.
Honestly, hard ass idea for a
Yes,
cover of
that's
some
my
sort.
idea.
We should do
That
shit
is
like
my
that.
idea,
You and
actually.
like hot tub of ramen.
Stolen ideas
I
stolen.
got the dandelion.
MSG
We're even.
GSR. There you
No,
go.
are we like the queer? What was it again? I told the
yeah.
dyke something.
Queer Enclave.
Yes, that's our.
We're
big name.
Enclave. Tell me about that.
Dyke Enclave.
I'm
Tell me
intrigued.
about that.
I was on
Enclave is
Zane's
a-
Isn't
show.
that like a dessert?
It's part of like.
It is, right?
It's like a
I was
collection.
about to say that's the
I
niggas
was
in
thinking
Fallout.
of like the little like lettuce.
They had the
like-
fire
So
armor, too.
real quick.
It's sick as fuck.
So I noticed that it's like I said, y'all do different like genres. Do you all ever play like live? Do you ever play your instruments live? Or have you tried?
I
or
wanna
wanted
do that.
to?
Need
That's something we all
to.
wanna
I
do.
want to do
Yeah.
that.
So
I literally was like,
bad.
I'm gonna do that.
Does
Like
take
I
practice.
can
do
do
it.
play guitar, I can
Do it.
play
Do it.
piano
You can play
live, I
bass,
can
can
do
play
that
Can you
live,
do
but
that
like,
while rapping?
but no, that is so.
That's the hard part.
Didn't we do that at
Impressive.
Actors Street? We were playing
Screams.
piano.
Oh, yeah.
drums,
That'd be
think
I don't
we
play
were
instruments,
freestyling,
but I do
Yeah.
screams
But
and
hard,
sing.
it, like-
That's
You know
just
what I'm saying?
like-
I know Ron be on the guitar.
and
singing.
both ways, I
Different,
guess.
though.
Yeah, we
Performance.
tapping into that, though.
Like the
Difficult.
timing, like to sing while playing guitar.
Oh yeah, I've tried.
I've been playing guitar like since I was like what 7. I've never been able to sing while playing guitar. That shit is so hard.
And then like
It's
rap
weird.
but I
guitar,
want
that's-
to.
okay.
It comes
I want
naturally.
to.
It comes. Honestly, I had a really hard time with that shit, and then out of nowhere, just one day, I was just like, I don't know, I'm fucking playing some Blink or some stupid shit, and I was like, oh, why is this working now suddenly? Like, and I was playing like, what's my age again? The intro, and I could sing the intro and play the fucking the intro like fucking melody thing at the same time, and I was like, this is fucking weird. Like, I was like, why can I do this? I just did it.
It's like being
one day.
ambidextrous. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It just clicked all of a
I can't
sudden.
sing, but I
You just
I
keep
can open my
practicing
mouth
it.
and make
Maybe one day.
sounds.
Alright.
So
That's singing.
But
singing.
so like, if you make music,
Frequency
can
doesn't
you do
matter.
that? Can you
So
sing while playing an
yeah.
instrument?
I've always wanted to. So I started off rapping, and then I was like, oh man, I need somebody to like play instruments. I couldn't find anybody to do it, so I started playing guitar like by myself, and I was just like, okay, how do I like layer this? And I always wanted to, because I came up with like metal and stuff too. So I was like, that was when I first started playing guitar. I was like, this is dope as fuck.
Hell yeah.
It was like the first time that I had seen like a genre, express what I wanted to. Because especially with like hip hop and stuff, there wasn't a lot of like, I couldn't see myself in it. You know what I mean? You like
I know
self
exactly what you
insert
mean.
and you're just
Of
like,
course.
100%.
like Ludacris, I could get. I'm just like, he has an afro, and that was
Yeah.
it. He likes puns. Okay, cool. We have two things.
I just
the rest of
started.
it.
I just started listening to his music again. It's like
Ludacris is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
again,
He's
no
always
pun
talking about
intended, but
bitches,
like,
but-
Ludacris is wild.
No, he's dope.
yeah.
But I get what you mean
Shout
about
out Luda,
identity
man.
with music.
Shout out
If you
Luda.
don't find it, how can you
Shout
just
out
like
Luda.
Luda. Shout out Vin
Well,
Diesel.
and that's
Mhm.
I
Gosh,
feel
shout out Vin
like
Diesel.
all of you
Shout
kind of
out
have that
Vin
same
Diesel.
background. Is you weren't able to see yourself in those genres, so you created that space for other people to see
Spanish
themselves in you.
boom,
Word.
boom.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the general. It's almost a cliche mission for artists.
It's
Mhm.
but it's
Essentially,
such an
we want our
important
own
one.
home to feel, hey, this is me. You're welcome here
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I get you.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
every artist is looking for it, or they're gonna make it for themselves.
Exactly,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah,
So-
I couldn't find it, so I created it.
Yeah.
My mom used to say like, or her friends used to say to her like, is he still playing like on the corner of the bed? Because like it was a joke to a artist that never takes their art outside of the house.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
okay.
I
I like that.
Damn,
That's
Yeah.
real
Wait,
corner
on
of
the
the
edge
bed.
of the
That's
bed?
That's a
I
song
hate
right
when
there.
you
I
say
never
that.
got off the
fucking
edge of the
song
bed.
right
I never
there.
got off the edge of the
So
bed.
much.
That is a song.
Yeah.
Still had fun.
It's a song lyric,
I had fun in my room.
right? In the
Pretty
corner of my
cute.
bed.
That.
Guitar never leaves the house. And
Yeah.
blasting upstairs. Dad's like,
I'm literally
"Go to a
him.
concert in the car."
I'm literally
Maybe that's
him.
fun,
That's
you know,
me.
That didn't happen to me. But like she used to say that, I used to get my mind racing all the time.
Yeah.
That's-
So I have a question for not to exclude anyone, but the
Yeah.
black artists. How did like your identity, being black and being into those heavier genres? I'll get around to you. How did being white, but how did being black and
Fucking-
kind of getting into the heavier genres, kind of, I guess, like influence you? Like, was it something that you never like saw
I'll let
yourself?
These two guys go first.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go first, Nino?
Definitely. I feel like, especially in Portland, the metal scene and more of like the post-hardcore scene was kind of they're more accepting. Actually, I'm not gonna
Sure,
lie.
sure.
Like,
Mhm.
in Portland.
Yeah,
In Portland.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel
Very
like-
important. The last part.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But
Mm.
like it didn't really take too much. Well, especially because like knowing the venues and people like the people who own the venues and stuff like that and
Yeah, that
playing, I
helps.
definitely feel like if you were to be brand new and to like drop here without knowing anyone and you just slid through, you're probably not gonna
Mhm.
get much leeway. You know what I mean? But like
You mean leeway? Are they gonna kick you out? Like,
no, I mean they're just not gonna let you like set your shit up. You know what I mean? Type beat and like
no.
eat all.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like, sorry, you can't set your shit up here.
You're not gonna, you know.
my
you're
merch
like-
table? You're like, you're not even performing. It's like,
Yeah,
I just want
no.
to sell some shirts, man.
Yeah, it's like, all right, bro. Like, there's 30,000 people trying to sell some shirts out there. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Well, like,
fuck.
see, Charlotte's kind of weird. Like,
We're not
Charlotte
from
is like,
Portland. We moved here 2 years ago from Brooklyn, and we lived in 5 different cities before that.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
so
not
y'all
from
moved
here, so,
together?
No, these two
Initially,
are
yeah.
brothers.
Okay.
If you
okay.
didn't
yeah,
catch
this is my
that.
blood right here. We all family, but it's like my
Yeah.
blood.
Actual blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brother, yeah.
Okay.
But like, yeah, Charlotte is weird. Like, it's a melting pot. So it's like I grew up with Hispanic people, Black people, white people,
Asians.
Asian people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was all up. And like, everyone like metal wasn't fully accepted, but if you listen to it, then people was just kind of like, oh, whatever.
You get your
But-
own little category.
metal nigga.
It's not a race.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But it's not hate.
Coming out here though, I feel like it was almost weird. I will say right now, being in other places, you come to this city, Portland, we got fetishized, dude.
Mhm.
Like you get fetishized for coming out of the crib with some makeup on and your nails black. You feel me? So like,
Yeah.
when I met him
Yeah.
with Nino, and Nino was like the only other dude like running around like that. Nino was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, don't trip, it's like that." You feel me? And it's like,
Yeah.
no, but like it's not like that all the time. Suddenly,
Mhm.
because that's something that you decided was yours, and now that I'm doing, it's like appropriation basically.
And
You
it's-
know what I'm
well,
saying?
yeah,
So it's
dude,
like who's to
like-
say who appropriated what?
The fashion
Yeah.
community.
No, we have
Black
to.
people do
Yeah.
We have to
forever.
appropriate some of their shit.
What the
Like,
fuck? We
yeah.
started metal, dude.
Yeah.
We started
Like,
punk.
you feel me? Blues,
Black
you
people
feel me?
started
What the
punk.
fuck?
But
you
it's
know?
like the fashion.
Bro, living
Black
color
people
word.
The
started
fashion
music.
community will
Yeah,
like
black
look
people
at
started
you so
real music.
crazy. Like the fashion community out here will like try to like grab you and immediately like, oh, I want you to be the leading picture of this, and this. I was like, I've never met
Right.
you before in my life.
It's
I've never
representation.
talked to
It's
you.
representation.
Yeah,
That's
representation.
weird.
I feel like that's a really just an important kind of thing. Is just I remember when I went to like one of my first metal or hardcore shows, and I just like saw another black dude, and I'm like, oh my, like it was just it
That's
was
the
like I
best feeling
felt
in the
so
world.
alone in liking this
Trust,
thing and
yeah.
having people, because I'm from a small town, I had people just be like, oh, like that's white people music.
Burns.
That's
Yeah.
Burns. Yeah, shout out to Burns. Super dope.
What the?
Uber dope.
Yeah,
Mad
Uber
Burns.
dope. Yeah, for real. Yeah. Please
Is that where
check
the
it out.
Signed
Bad
Uber
Boys
dope.
held up or something?
Yeah, exactly. It is though. But yeah, just like coming from a place where it was like it wasn't accepted that I liked these things, coming to a place like this, or even just really outside of a small town or just a really rural place, being in a place where it's okay for you to like what you like, and it's not this like, oh, that's a black thing, that's a white thing, like. I feel like you can say it's a black thing, but like when you say it's a white thing, now it's like now you're excluding me from
scary.
something you've always been excluding me from.
Mm.
I know what
Yeah,
you mean.
yeah,
Yeah, real talk. I mean,
Yeah.
Portland's a mixed bag with that. Like I said, on one end, that was fetishization, but on the other hand, nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I could come out here and dress how the fuck I want to dress. I can play guitar, I can make screamo, and nobody's gonna say you're fucking weird. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, it was more than cool.
Yeah.
Down
Yeah,
south,
Portland
though, I
loves
mean,
that
it was
shit.
like, it was just different.
Nobody's gonna press
You
you
had
about
to
it
you had to
here.
run that scene to not really be made fun of. Like you had to be
You
in
had to run it.
control
You
for them
couldn't be
not
a
to say
newbie.
nothing to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So do you feel like when you first brought your music and your style to Portland, were they automatically accepting, or were they like, who is this? Really
honestly,
cool.
I would say yes. I would never try to say no. People were nice, Nino and his crew and Leon, like I didn't know at the time, but like they are the scene here, honestly, like HHM and like some of the new bands that we know, like shout out Chainsaw Girl maybe for instance, but like
Yeah, Chainsaw Girl
Purity,
hard.
yeah, like this
Purity.
little scene, this little pocket was actually really, really positive and supporting. It wasn't a ego battle of what are you doing over there and that's new and I don't like it. It was like
No, I'm the cool black guy.
yeah,
I
it's
I
dope.
definitely-
It's like dope, like, bring that shit
I've had
over
a different
here, you know what I'm
experience.
saying?
It was just wild.
It was weird. It was weird actually. Like I always say to them, like one of the reasons why I just resonated with their shit so much when I first met them, is because I was like, man, me and my nigga Jordan, shout out Jordan Fletcher, that's the boy. Shout out Heavy Gold too. You already know. North Jordan, shout out North Jordan. That's my bro. But we started a group like 4 years ago called Sloth Gang, and we were doing like hardcore shit or like hardcore like trap metal shit. And our first show we opened up for Tommy Wright the Third and stuff, and like we were like playing with a bunch of fucking power violence bands and shit. And that scene was like super accepting of us, but like trying to get on a bill like as some like like punk listening like hardcore niggas, like it was motherfuckers was like, oh, this shit's so uneducated, this is so stupid, this is so blah blah blah. And it was like, god damn, like this is so unrewarding. Like I mean, there was people that really fucked with our shit a lot and stuff, and we had this song called Swine that was like very anti-cop, so a lot of people were bumping it during like the protests and shit, and that was cool. But like I feel like the acceptance wasn't really there in the way that like I wanted it to be. And then I saw this scene kind of popping up, or like I started going out to shows at Rainbow and stuff, and just like seeing these folks, and I was like, holy fucking
Bro, I
shit,
feel like
this
the
is it
acceptance
right
the
here.
acceptance thing, bro, is so
Yeah.
lame. I feel that. I feel like, bro, they
Yeah.
don't want us in, bro. Because they know we finish shit on the whole
Ex-
planet.
That's
No,
why I
they
was.
do not.
That's why I was
Like-
only in a few
They're gonna
bands
take
growing up
over.
because people didn't want me to be in their band because I fucking, what I'm saying.
Brand, what's your perspective,
Word.
honestly, just on that touch, like with the race and music, and you know what I mean? Nobody ever comes at us about that shit, for instance.
Yeah.
Not in person, that's for sure.
Happy Juneteenth,
Twitter
by the
fingers.
way.
Yeah.
Happy Juneteenth.
I mean, this is relevant. There was I was hanging out with someone yesterday, and they asked if I told you.
Oh,
They
wow.
asked if everyone in D3M was like actually like emo or actually fucked with that, or if they were just like trying to look the part and shit like that.
Bro.
Are you
And
No,
a
I've
lot of
never been
work.
sad.
Are you a
And-
poser?
It
You're a
seemed
fucking
like
poser.
it was a race thing. Like you can't have like black punks in the scene. Like to this person, it was so wild.
It's
Like she
like
thought
not
it
a
was-
thing.
And it's so
Yeah.
funny because it's like it's Portland. Like you would,
It's
you would
Portland.
imagine you'd be like, you've been around. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like,
You've
What?
been around. Have you never? Like,
It's just interesting to see.
You know, the scene is crazy out here. Like, this is
Super crazy.
legendary. Portland's legendary for all that kind of music and stuff. So it almost would make a lot less sense for people to not be like, you know, kind of influenced in that way and stuff. You know, like I fortunately before they closed, I got to play at Satyricon and Bird Bodies, and you know, some of the more legendary joints were like Nirvana and all them. All the crazy bands came through and played and stuff. We had Frank Black from the Pixies at one of our school rock shows. He played with us. Like, the scene is it's like it just wouldn't make sense for me to not be influenced in this way.
Of
so
course.
you know,
I
it's
feel
like
that.
it's a crazy. It's also so fucking rainy all the time. It's dark. You know, it's like
Yeah, no shit.
it's like I think there's really
Truly.
big potential for like a actual real sound to come out of the Northwest just because of that's how fucking grunge came about. You know, it's just like, man, it's fucking rainy all the time. It fucking sucks. All we can do out here is drugs. Like, you know,
I
like,
will
Shout
say,
out the
being in
Northwest.
Portland-
and dub.
Being in Portland has influenced my music like 100-fold. Like, there's energy here that you just don't get other places.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I lived in Chicago, we lived in Detroit, lived in New York, lived
Yeah.
in North Carolina, lived in St. Louis,
Okay.
and I visited a number of other places. There's energy that does not. It's just only in Portland. It's just
Yeah.
only here. So
Well,
take what you will from that, but it's
yeah.
everything.
Before you change, okay. I was just gonna ask, how is the music scene here different from other places you've been?
All
You
right,
said
so I'll
there's,
do
like, a lot of
Portland versus
energy
New York
here,
right now,
but
right? So like Portland versus New York.
Specifically.
You have like you have hood, you have like your high income areas, you have your areas where people are more expressive. So like in New York, you have the Village. This is where your gay communities are. Portland is much more open with that in general. That's an open conversation consistently. People fight for their rights very openly out here, whereas like New York is a rat race. Even if they are fighting for their rights, it's just so much going on. A lot of shit gets swept under. You feel me? People going to work, but like the scene, because it's all centralized and it's all here. Like you can literally go to downtown Portland and see everything. Whereas New York, it's like, yo, Brooklyn is not the Bronx. It's not Manhattan.
Right.
Just because you're in that scene over there doesn't mean you're gonna know these other people. The only thing that separates the scenes here is music.
By the way, I just came from New York. Shout out to Bronx. Them niggas is lit out there. Shout out Flock. Shout out all of them niggas.
Flatbush.
New York, I feel like LA. I feel like downtown Portland, not even just that, but Portland in general is like New York mixed with LA, but on acid. You know what I
York
mean?
mixed
It's
with
like,
LA on
Whoa,
it's
I
acid.
feel
like-
that.
it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
Behind
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well,
It's
that was
like
wavy.
on
back
acid.
and forth and back and forth, and it's like it's kind of lit sometimes, but then it's kind of fucky sometimes, but then
It's a bad trip.
it's kind of good.
Sometimes it's a
Yeah,
bad
sometimes it's a good trip,
Yeah.
bad trip. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it is a bad trip.
So I did want to ask, as far as like live shows, like what would you say that y'all bring that maybe another band or group probably doesn't?
We interact with people at shows.
Okay.
We are
Yeah.
not
Wu-Tang Clan vibes.
uppity. Like
Okay.
to the point. I mean, I remember the first show we did out here that we did at Rainbow City. People got mad at me for this, but like, so we waited all night to go on, and then I was like, okay, where's everybody at? And they're all partying and going outside and smoking, and I'm like, I don't know, y'all. So all of you come inside like right now. And then they started to, and then they were like, okay, well, like they were just talking. So I started screaming at them to shut up. And it was like honestly the rudest thing ever. But I'm just feeling like I'm not getting paid for this. Yeah, like,
I
but I'm not getting
mean-
paid for
It's
this
always
shit.
2020. I
I'm
get it.
here. You waited this fucking long. You're gonna fucking hear this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was
I
that.
listen to you.
We
The
got something
second
to say.
after I got done screaming them to shut up, they all shut up, and then we played the song. And after that, it was up. And I feel like that is an experience. If you come to shows, like you come to shows to
I will
experience.
tell you to
artists.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
shut. Like, bro,
bro,
like, if you want to go get
That's when I met
Go
y'all.
to
That show
a
is when I
bar.
met y'all.
Yeah, fair.
You know what I'm
Fuck.
saying? Like
Yeah.
you paid $5 to get in the
I
venue.
was like, this guy's awesome.
Mosh. Like, listen, like
This guy's
it's 2
fucking
minutes of
lit.
your
It's
time.
telling everyone to shut
practically.
up.
Yeah.
It's
I do that
interesting
for other
because
artists, but also I know what that's like to do DIY shows and
Yeah.
not get any human connection whatsoever. Why did you step out the house today, bro?
Why did you step out
Real.
there?
there's a lot of people that will try and command attention, especially in Portland, that I've noticed. And then you're like, okay, bet, like, you know, that's just like a punk thing to do. If somebody's about to play, you go inside, you start paying attention, you know, ears stop talking or whatever, start moshing. A lot of people will try to command your attention out here though, and then you go on and you're like, oh
Why did you command my
God,
attention?
I was like,
Yeah.
like there's some acts where I'm like, they command my attention. Shout out Karma, you know, they command attention and they get it, and then they fucking shut shit down, and that's, you know, that's what I feel like these cats do. It's like they're like, yo, listen up, you know, and then they actually shut shit down instead of, you know, being like, yo, come listen. And then it's like,
Like you wrap it up and go back
boom,
up.
cat. And
It's
I'm
like some fucking.
I'm like, hey,
what the
yo,
fuck is this?
nigga,
It's like
what
some
is that? What
Put a
is
cigarette out for this.
Yeah, I know,
I put a
literally.
whole cigarette out for this. Like that
I ran inside for this shit,
That's
nigga.
fucked
What the
up
fuck?
when the set makes you want to go smoke a cigarette.
Literally.
That's
Fuck.
real as hell, though.
Now,
Fuck.
I didn't want to smoke a cigarette before, but now.
But now it's
I
fucking
need an
time.
excuse.
I need a cigarette. I need a cigarette, please.
I'm gonna just go home.
I love shows for that though. Like if let's say I'm not performing, I'm going to support a homie. I want everyone to be engaging in that energy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It feels like a really, really simple thing to ask for somebody. It's like give and take.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not asking that much.
you're
of you.
here.
Maybe you got mad at
Well,
screaming
I
at you,
mean,
but-
that's the thing that I feel like is just kind of like the etiquette with a lot of shows is like, hey, I stuck around and watched your set. Can
Yeah,
you
you-
do that for
That
mine.
is, that is what
And
you do.
But this is also coming from somebody who
Don't
smokes a
do
shitload of cigarettes. So I mean, it's kind of a
Dude, I was
who knows
here,
which
I
one
was
I'm doing
listening,
more
I
of.
was
But
tuned in.
like,
Well, some people just up and leave, which is like I think
Yeah.
I personally like just growing up like going to like house shows and like playing with punk bands and stuff like that's just like low key like disrespectful and like it's not the utmost disrespect, but if you open for somebody, play for somebody, and then you're just like I'm out, fuck this shit, I did my shit, like that's like some Hollywood shit.
Yeah,
That's like
no, it
mad
is, it
Hollywood,
is.
and I'm
It's
like
like-
that's weird. Like you're not you're
like-
playing for $5. Like what do you mean you're gonna leave and like
We did a show that happened, and everyone left after. They weren't even a headliner. It was just one of the more like popular artists in the scene.
Oh yeah.
And everyone left after that, and the only people left were like two
Gang.
other performers and gang. Like,
That's
but
so,
that,
like,
but that's the best thing because now we have an entire venue to ourselves, and we
It's
can
genuine.
just like
It's
let the
literally
energy
like-
out.
Backflip
Yeah.
off the
Because
walls.
we don't change like if there's people there, we keep the
We can still do
same
it.
energy,
Yeah.
and that's what I
There
love
can be
about
5 people in that
everyone.
crowd, I'll
Like,
still make them mosh.
well,
Still
I,
10 out.
Factual.
I was talking with a comedian last night, and we were just talking about like the idea that like the best comedians are the people who deliver regardless of how many people are who are in the
100%.
audience. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Because I feel like as musicians, we end up like with we end up with 5 people in the audience, and they're like, oh man, well I guess I'm gonna give them a shit show. It's like, dude, they're the only ones who stuck around. You're gonna give them a shit show?
Mhm.
You better
recognize.
perform your heart out for those 5
Yeah.
people. Like
We
those
talk
are the
about-
ones that matter.
Music being oversaturated, I feel like
facts.
literally the only thing that happens, the reason people don't stick around is because you're coming to an event and there's like 15 people that all want your attention that are on this event. It's not fair to any one of those 15 artists to have to compete for attention in that in that space.
Yeah, those big bills
Because
be.
it's not meant for that. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
20
It's
people,
Literally
yeah.
DIY. It's literally just like some, like, you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
Why is 15 people on this bill? People are not going to stand around for 7 hours.
The LA show.
Yeah.
Oh
The
my-
flyer for the LA show.
Like, pick
Oh,
5. Pick 5 people and we
And
can all
more,
rock
and
the
more.
show.
And more.
So next week, the other 5, you know?
Plus
Right.
25 plus.
So, what is your guys' favorite, or what is y'all favorite venue to play in Portland? Rainbow
Just
City.
got-
Shout out Rainbow. Just
Under
I
a
just got here.
bridge.
All the
Locations,
venues
too.
Under a
dope.
bridge.
Very
Rainbow
important.
scene. I mean, shout out Strawberry. Strawberry just is a
Strawberry
great show.
pickle.
Strawberry will let people perform at her venue, but they'll also just straight up serve drinks the whole time. So like,
Mhm.
don't even get to do shit. Like you're working your ass off for all these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's dope. That's super dope.
She has a new space opening up,
Sure.
which will be super sick.
Yep.
Yes.
New venue.
Yeah, new venue.
Yeah, I was actually just at that
New
new
venue, who this?
Word, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
From there, right?
It looks pretty fucking dope. I'm
For
excited.
La Familia
I'm
Fest?
excited.
Familiar Fest.
Excited.
Yeah.
Put that on a sediment.
On the sediment. On the
sediment.
seti.
To find another venue that I want to just like show the same kind of love though. They
Yeah.
got to find us at this point.
Setting,
Like,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard for artists to represent themselves walking in the venue. Like I'm me and I want to perform here. They're
Yeah,
gonna shoot, like,
I know you've
whatever.
never heard of me, but I need you to
They're
bet
gonna be like,
all
whatever.
your money
They need
on
somebody
me.
else to go in there for you to say, hey, I'm representing this person. We want to do this.
Yeah.
They'll cock their eye and be like, oh.
I really like Kelly's Olympian. Kelly's is
What
Kelly's
is
is
it?
great. Sounds great in there. I like a good spot that has a good, acoustic. Like I like to make sure that shit sounds good. And a lot of artists don't like to EQ their shit. You know what I'm saying? So I like a place where there's a good sound engineer. Somebody on the board knows what they're doing. So that like somebody that knows like different genres of music and how to like mix and engineer them like live and stuff, because a lot of venues won't do that. And there's a noticeable difference when somebody's like, yo, let me like make sure my shit's all good and like set
yeah.
up right. It's a real
When you
noticeable
have, like, a
difference.
good sound person, like I didn't realize I needed to tip my sound person until I had bad sound.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, if you treat them like shit too, they'll just, they'll be
Why
like,
is it
let
my
me just,
Yeah.
yeah, they'll, and there's also I forgot what they call it, but there's like the just like, a lot of sound engineers I talk to, they're like, there's the shut the fuck up knob where you pretend to turn it as they're talking to you because you're like, yo, turn my motherfucking level and this and that, and they'll say some weird shit that doesn't make any sense and they're being rude, and then the person will be like, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
They'll
and you're
actually
like,
turn
"Sounds way
anything,
better."
or they'll turn a knob that there's
sure.
like a dead channel on it, like they won't even be like metering in it. They're just like, oh yeah, for sure, I got you, bro.
Sounds
Like,
way better. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
hear it,
yeah. And then and that just makes them hate you even more when you're like, oh, thanks, bro. That sounds great, and you're
Yeah.
like, you have no idea what you're doing.
Not only did you
Like,
make an annoying request, you don't know the difference.
you don't know
of
the
whether or not it was
fucking
filmed.
difference. Like, I'm like, god damn.
Sound good eyes are on.
Sound good eyes.
Sound
No,
good eyes are on.
sound maximizer.
So as far as like releasing music, what was some of the avenues that you went with? Kind of like starting out. I mean, did you start off with SoundCloud? Were you like, no, I'm gonna wait till I get Spotify? Were you dropping like just copied CDs?
I started with SoundCloud,
Okay.
and then he helped me get more of the outlets going.
Yeah, so I started with SoundCloud, bro.
Bandcamp, actually, SoundCloud and Bandcamp because I was doing the rock.
Shout out
Word.
Bandcamp.
More
Shout out
throwback.
Bandcamp.
Right?
Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
Word.
Shout out Bandcamp.
Like, easy access.
MySpace.
Everyone's on there. So let's say you literally know 1,000 people and you upload a SoundCloud link. I mean, they'll all listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fast to get to as well. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people don't talk about enough in the industry. Is like if you send something to someone, you want them to be able to click it and hear it. You don't want it to be a download link. You don't want it to be a zip file. You want them to be able to click it and hear it right
You
away.
have to
You know what I'm
fucking
saying?
extract the
Yeah,
file.
I'm like,
Yeah,
motherfuckers
for
don't
real.
got time. Like,
Download
it's
the app.
it's a matter
Literally
of 10
just a
Zip,
seconds.
unzip,
No,
rezip.
most definitely. But now it's like access to, I mean, we're on everything. You know what I mean? But honestly, SoundCloud's a good way to just be like, what are y'all actually like? Because you'll waste money and time just putting everything on everywhere where nobody's listening to that.
Yeah.
SoundCloud's a good testing ground for like, oh, y'all do like
That'd be
this song.
funny
I
as
can see,
fuck.
I can see
Facts.
how many of
Fucking
you actually
that
listen to this
sucks.
on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can see that on your other stuff too, but only once like uploaded it, once you see it, like you gotta wait a amount of time to see your stats.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But, like, SoundCloud
Yeah.
can get it immediately.
Yeah.
What about you? If you want to upload, what do you use?
I just recently released to Spotify. I was using SoundCloud like initially, and I still have a lot of those older tracks. But it was a nice place to kind of like test things out and be like, hey, like what do I when I do finally release my stuff, when I want to pay music, when I want to get this mixed, mastered, like
Right.
what do I want to put my money into? And yeah, just y'all saying the whole SoundCloud thing. I was like, I feel like I should release this. to
Distribution?
SoundCloud.
Do you have a distribution?
You have like DistroKid.
DistroKid.
Yep,
Yeah.
DistroKid.
DistroKid and United Masters are the only ones like I've ever used.
Mhm.
I've used United Masters.
Fuck up. I need to pay
So
my
These
what
TuneCore
about
ones.
what about music videos and stuff like that?
So
Crazy with it.
Rain here has actually done most of our videos.
Hello.
Really cool with it. Super cool with it. Done Premiere.
Debatable.
To the point where like none of us were able to really. That's a language, It's like a DAW in itself to know
Yeah.
how to do that and to just no camera work. So like Brain is really solid with that. He's done that for us.
I've
Where
always
do you do
loved.
the editing? Do you use like Adobe?
Yeah, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Adobe.
Mine
I use
might-
Premiere. I want to learn After Effects because you can just do so much more in terms of like graphics and visuals. Like Cyber Drips.
Shout out
Shout
Cyber.
Cyber is
Big-
crazy.
big shout out-
Shout out Cyber.
Cyber's
Big
is
shout out to
crazy.
Cyber Drips wherever the
Producer,
camera is.
videographer, artist,
Oh, okay.
dope.
That made that dude is
Cyber drips.
and a
But-
didgeridoo.
He's a part of
Didgeridoo done.
HHM.
He has a
Yep.
didgeridoo.
He's a
It's
part of
crazy.
HHM.
Doer. But yeah,
Doer. Pick up the youth them.
That nigga's is crazy.
So yeah, you do the music videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've shot a few. They're the reason why my
4 or
first
5
link with them I pulled up, and I was like, we're gonna take some pictures because I was just a photographer. The show he was talking about where he told everyone to shut up. That was my first time seeing anyone. I was taking photos,
Like, this is
posting
awesome.
them.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
I was
I'm
like,
here for
I
it.
fuck with them. I fuck with them
Like,
heavy.
That's
yeah,
hard
shut
I
up.
ever got.
Like he said.
And I posted them, and then all of a sudden, everyone's tapping in, engaging. I was so ecstatic. I was happy as fuck.
Wink, wink.
They wanted to kick it, shoot photos, pull up. All of a sudden, I'm shooting a music video. Never
Yeah,
shot a
it's
music
lit.
video in my life.
Yeah,
But now
so-
because of that, I mean, I'm still on that like DIY level where like I don't know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's
But
where
it
I'm
looks
at,
cool.
too.
Yeah,
Intuition.
like as long as it looks cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
Intuition.
But
Yeah.
I like to start doing like larger shoots. Like I want to find an actual space that we
Oh
can
my
rent
God,
out
yeah,
and
do
actually
production.
work with lights. I want to rent a better camera because I just have a 6D, which I mean it's great. It's a great camera. I love it. But low light sucks.
And lighting
So,
is everything. you know what I mean?
Lighting is everything. I'm a
It's
broke
true.
boy. I can't afford big ass
Being the ugliest
lights.
person like you with good lighting.
Period.
True.
For real.
Spectra Vision. Shout out Spectra Vision. best
Yes.
cinematographers.
What is your? Have you put out an album together recently? Like, what is your
We have a
latest music that you
couple
put
of
out?
projects out. The initial one was Voices, which is just an alternative indie project. It's called Voices because there's multiple voices you're listening to, obviously. We did LSV, which is just language, sex, violence.
That's why I love LSV.
Literally, it's exactly what it is. You feel me? It's lit. And now we're doing like solo projects. Like, everybody has like an individual project in the works.
I need to
but
start
I don't wanna
that.
talk about it.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
no,
well,
I have
mean,
no idea.
A lot of shit has been said
how
for the
much.
first time on our
That's
show.
very
so-
true.
Like,
Baby.
there's literally like,
You know.
oh boy.
I got
This is
some
the place where
shit.
you hear it first.
You be
That's true.
shitting.
Okay,
I
pause.
got
Okay.
some shit. I
Me
got
and
some
Knox
shit.
are about to put
I
out a tape.
Kush.
Cyber just shot our video,
Oh shit!
and
Okay.
it's like on my page.
Mm.
Video comes out June 21st.
June 21st.
The project itself is July 1st. It's called Mob Psycho. It's just awesome. It's craziness.
Fire.
It's alternative.
Right.
It's just like
Fire.
Knox. How do y'all describe Knox's music?
Yes.
Yeah, just yes.
Dark,
Just
trap,
yes.
lyrical as fuck.
Pirate.
Voice be
Pirate
crazy.
hook. Pirate hook.
Pirate
Bro is literally Bro
I've never heard that,
Bro
but
is
it sounds
Arg.
about
Okay,
right.
Arg.
Arg
Arg.
Nation.
That's crazy.
That's all I have really.
Out here swashbuckling.
Knox is a quiet riot. Knox is a quiet riot.
Wow,
Whatever.
respect.
Nino
That
right now.
nigga's
a
Nino
menace.
definitely has a tape on the way, but I don't know when he's gonna put it out, and he hasn't really let anybody know. But Nino has like been I feel like
Out
he has the
tomorrow.
most like what's the word for it?
Catalog or
Spirit bomb build
like
up.
he has a hype.
Spirit bomb build
because he doesn't drop music, so
Yeah.
Speak on that, Nino.
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it.
Be here
Mm.
waiting for you.
Yeah.
quiet. Wow,
He said, yeah.
Yeah.
5 times.
Yeah, I got a
Right.
tape coming. But
We're waiting.
You have to say
Dude,
too much.
there's
You have to
We're
say
excited.
too much.
there's so many different like types of like
Yeah.
I just wasn't really trying to like put all of it into one tape, so I might spread it out into multiple different.
Like, that makes sense. You touch like so many different genres.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that's
shit.
a fact.
I need to start a solo
You
project.
need to-
I've only done features. I'm too scared to
I'm
make
spooked.
music.
Don't
Don't
say.
know.
Me and
Yeah.
Bray need a tape. It would be
Oh my
gas.
God, we
And
need
me
a
and you also
tape.
have shit on the way. And I also was gonna say I have a lot of shit on the way, but I'm not gonna say too much.
I would actually say it's at the
It's-
point
it's
now
super
where
OD.
like there's so much music. We want a path to put it out at like the right rate, also
Higher
the right
level.
quality, and
Yeah.
not like stepping over one of our friends. Because
Yeah.
imagine if I want to put something out, but I know Nino needs to put something out. Like
Mhm.
you feel me? There's like arrangements around that. It's like I forget what you call that, like a rollout plan.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Because like
Yeah,
I
we just
don't have one.
articulating
We're
shit.
just
Word.
making shit right now.
For sure.
And find
Came
and like
back.
see like, oh, you like that?
I'm
Okay,
dead
we'll
mic.
do more of that for you. No, it's too early to say.
Can you like share mics?
Yeah.
Philip.
Hello.
Hello.
In regards to the projects coming out and stuff, there's some shit in the works. Can't say too much, it's top secret information, but we'll give you a little hint, you know what I'm saying? Page Street about to be doing some crazy shit. We about to be it's especially with these folks, we got something in the works and it's gonna be crazy and it's gonna be top tier. And we're these are the ones, so we're gonna be putting
For the one.
a lot of energy
Ooh.
and a lot of time and doing what we can to make sure the shit comes out really, really crazy, really good, really solid. Try to flip the
Alright.
script and flip the city on its head. You know what I'm
I
saying?
am
So,
very excited to hear
yeah.
what comes.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. We're trying to put out premium quality stuff, and this is who we want to do it with. I mean everybody else, but specifically
Fortunately, fan, people
Something
try to,
beautiful.
something beautiful.
Be involved.
Yeah.
Like when I mean hit the fan, I just mean like, what if we're not interested anymore, or what if we blow up, or what if one of us dies? Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
God
Sorry.
damn.
I'm just saying,
Life
bro,
is real
everything
shit.
Is real life. Everything is real fucking life. So this is that time.
No,
like,
true
you love
that.
Music and like you are interested in any part of music, go find that shit.
It's time to go get it.
Yes.
Go talk to that artist.
The time is now.
Like that band, go see that fucking band.
Yes.
Stop being fucking fake.
Yeah. Stop
honestly.
being a bitch.
Yeah.
Stop being a
Yeah.
bitch.
Fuck
Stop being a
pussy.
fucking pussy.
So we're gonna wrap up soon, but I wanted everybody to shout out their like Instagrams and everything like that, and then also if there's any like last things that you want to talk about, about the Portland music scene.
Kira,
Shout out-
Kira,
shout out
Kira,
Kira Zane.
Kira,
Shout out
Kira,
Zane.
Here's our
Kira,
brother,
family,
Kira
family.
back here
Kira.
in August. No, actually
Woo.
sooner than that. Shout out to Mags. That's our
Wait,
brother.
you-
Okay. Shout out
Big
to
bro.
Shout out Juice our Scoob. Shout out
Jesus.
Tintin.
Shout out Monte Vices.
Monte Vice.
Big shout out Monte Vices.
Shout
My
out
bad.
Frankie, of course.
Frankie
I'm gonna have a
Piat.
lot
Shout out
to
my
tag
brother
for this
Angels. He on the
episode.
come up. Shout out my little brother
Shout out
Angels.
AK.
Slow
Shout
down.
out Cyber.
Shout
Shout out
out-
Nomad. You
Shout
feel
out
me?
everybody.
So many
Alright.
people.
Shout out
Yeah.
Christina Applegate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo,
Shout out
Tempe.
Leonardo
Shout out
DiCaprio.
KG.
Shout out my dad wherever he is.
Oh God, felt that one.
Goddamn. Shout out Pop's moms. You feel me?
Shout out me.
Grandma.
Untitled Brand on Instagram. I'm shadow banned, but I'll follow you back when I'm unbanned. I think
Yeah, I'm
tomorrow.
still waiting on that follow.
I got you.
Satan X Lucy spelled the way niggas say it, you dig? Yeah.
At D3M World.
Wait, say, can you spell?
Seitan.
Fake me.
Yeah. Like it means the number 5. I feel like I expect everybody to know how to spell that shit because I do, but like, yeah.
Yeah, I struggle with it sometimes, but I got it now. It's in there. It's in my brain bank. Satan, baby.
Thank you guys for having us, though. honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
thank
for
you so
coming
much.
on.
So much fun.
Yeah,
This is
we're loving you.
crazy.
Good, right question.
This is our first time with a group, more
Yeah.
than one person, and I
Really?
think it worked out
Yes.
really well. Yeah,
Trend setting.
it's been fun.
Let's go, because the people watching, they're trying to keep up with who's talking.
I love people
That's
watching.
fun. I like doing that.
Yeah. They're like, which one's talking?
Because let's say like somebody's having a weird interaction over there, like it's not on mic.
Mhm.
Somebody's watching it. And be like,
Oh, they were like, "What are they talking about?"
Over there.
I was definitely miking Brain's shoe a few times. That's Brain's shoe saying. PRXTTY_L3ON on Instagram.
Pretty Leon.
Pretty Leon. you
Yeah,
already know.
very pretty
The
Leon.
gang. I'm beautiful. Real shit.
Untitled
shit.
Brain, spelled how it sounds.
GSR Nino. Well, it's GSR _Nino. But yeah, it's
Give them a follow.
Yup.
Yerp. SEITANXLUCY. Satan with an X, Lucy with a Y, you dig?
Raysen 9K spelled REISEN 9K. D3M World. D3M.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No.
D3M World.
Get it right,
Carissa
wankers.
does.
Also, shout out.
Check out my
Whenever we
Instagram
get,
as
I'm about to
well
go
to
smoke a
keep.
cigarette.
Shout out
to
Shop
keep
by
up with
12
what we're
Gauge.
doing.
You already know. Another Instagram to follow.
I'm looking at the right, and I'm Zane Thomas. It's Zane Thomas. There you go, the one and only.
Hell yeah.
The one and only. There's two. Yeah, this has been a blast. I'm not sure which camera to look at, so I'm just going to look at you guys. Thank you all so much for hanging
Thank you,
out.
thank
Thank
you.
you so much. This is
Pleasure having
amazing.
you.
I
And
appreciate
yeah, I
both
can't
of
wait
you.
to chop up this episode, listen back to it, and we'll
So
hopefully
much
see
fun.
you out at a show sometime.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be out. We'll
And
be out and
this has been
about.
another episode of Off the Cuff with Des and Zane. I am your host, Carissa Des.
I'm your host, Zane Thomas.
And we are live every Sunday at 12 or 11, depending on.
Depending on whether or not I have a show.
I love you. Peace, love, donuts.
Yep. Pew, pew.
Bye. I love you. Me too. Let's get some
Let's get some donuts, y'all.
Right here to